Welcome to Brightly Street. My name is Malia and today I'm going to share with you meals in a jar. And it has been life-changing. Now the reason why it has is because it's created my 5 o'clock hour when kids are coming home from school and I'm trying to figure out what to eat for dinner, and it makes it totally stress-free. You can even ask my husband. When he comes home, I'm not cranky, irritable. Sometimes I am tired, but it's not as bad as it used to be when I was trying to figure out what to make for dinner, find the ingredients, and then get it all prepared while my kids need to get homework done, they're hungry, they want a snack, and it just was always crazy, crazy time. And so ever since we've been eating meals in a jar daily instead of just in our food storage, it has made a huge difference. This way of cooking is really easy, and pretty much you can have a grocery store in your home 24/7 and never run out of the fruits, vegetables, and meats that you'll use on a daily basis. Today I'm going to give you a little 101 on meals in a jar, and I'm going to share with you one of our family's favorite recipe, which is a beef stroganoff. Now, we made this up in the mountains, and I will show you a little video on how that went when we were camping with our family. And I was telling my friend about this great recipe I had of beef stroganoff, and she looked at it and she said, "Why is there rice in there? You're supposed to use egg noodles, and ground beef, you're supposed to use steak." And anyways, it was kind of funny because it's the only way I've ever known. My father always cooked beef stroganoff this way, my mother, and so this is the way I know. So I encourage you to go ahead and post the way you eat beef stroganoff in your own home below here at the comments on our YouTube channel. And so I'd love to see what you guys do, and maybe we can figure out a way to incorporate some other varieties of beef stroganoff in freeze-dried meals in a jar. Okay, so first thing is, if you subscribe to my website at brightlystreet.com and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, I'm going to go ahead and send you all the information about where I shop, because there are some secrets and tricks that I use to get the best deal. So when we found out about meals in a jar, at first we thought it was pretty expensive, and it can be. But as I dug and found out more information and spent a few months kind of researching and purchasing different kind of foods from different kind of companies, I kind of honed in on the best way for our family, the healthiest way to eat freeze or dry meals. And the coolest thing is that you can use this same food in your food storage. And so instead of having a food storage full of rice and beans and flour that you're not really sure what you're going to do with if you need it, these are actually meals already prepared that you just add water and boil and you're good to go. And they're really great meals. And so I have had a lot of experience using these ingredients and different kind of brands. And so if you'll subscribe to our website, I'll go ahead and send you exactly where you can get some of these things. I will mention a little bit today, but I have some insider secrets that I would like to share with you. And so go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe to our Facebook page, so that our Facebook and our email on our website, so that we can email you that information. And so let's just get into our meals in a jar for beef stroganoff. I'm going to just show it to you and kind of talk a little bit about freeze-dried food. And then any comments you have, go ahead and just comment below, either on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page, where we'll have some more information. And I will try to get back to you as quickly as possible. And so first you're going to need some mason jars, cleaned out, dried completely. Now there's two things that are no good for your freeze-dried and dry ingredients, and that is air and water. So you want to make sure that your measuring cups and your funnels are all completely dry, so that your food doesn't go bad. And so I pretty much took the family recipe of beef stroganoff that we've always used and just modified it a bit so that it would work with freeze-dried ingredients. And so first we're going to put our funnel on top of our mason jar, and I use the wide mouth. I also have regular mouth, but with a wide mouth you can get a little bit more ingredients inside the jar. So if I can get my hands on wide mouth, I definitely love to use them. So first we're going to add ground beef. Now this ground beef is already cooked, pre-cooked, and seasoned. This one's actually seasoned, and this is from Thrive. But I have a secret place where I actually purchase my Thrive ingredients that will save you a ton of money. And so I'll send that to you. So go ahead and add 2 cups of ground beef. And next, we're going to add our can of something. So this is kind of like a cream of chicken soup or whatnot that you would add into tons of different ingredients. I'll do another video on how to actually put this together. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and add a half a cup. Let me use this one and get in here easier. This is a 1/4 cup measuring spoon, so we're just going to add half a cup cream of something in there. It doesn't need to be totally precise on your measurements. Next, we're going to add half a cup of powdered milk. Now, I get my powdered milk from the LDS cannery. I will send you the links. The links will be below. You can find out exactly where to get information on those products. Next, we're going to have sour cream. Now, the great thing with sour cream is it's one of those things that kind of spoils fast in your fridge if you don't use it a lot, and it's not something we use a whole lot. But when it's in a can, I have access to it 24/7. If ever I need sour cream, I can go to it, I can whip it up with some water, stick it in the fridge, and it's delicious. So we're going to go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of sour cream. And I get my sour cream from Honeyville. They are awesome, one of the best price around, and they are a great product. And so I love Honeyville. And then we're going to go ahead and add cream cheese. Same, we're going to add another 1/4 cup of cream cheese. And then, if you've ever used green onions, usually you need just a little bit of green onions, but you've got to buy a bunch at the grocery store. And so my green onions always go bad. But when you buy it in a jar and freeze dried, I just finally used my last can of green onions, and it lasted almost a whole year. And the cool thing with freeze-dried ingredients is that it won't go bad. So as long as you preserve it well, I'll show you how to do that. They'll last you a very long time, and you won't have any stuff rotting in your fridge or throwing out half your produce, which typically tends to happen. And so we're going to put a 1/4 cup of green onions as well. And then the last thing we need is onions. Now, there's a big debate about freeze-dried onions versus dehydrated. They're supposed to taste very different, but to me, it's all the same. And so I just use dehydrated onions, and I get it from the LDS cannery. And I'm going to just go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of dried onions. Okay, that's all you need. So if I was to set out 12 jars, so when I bottle these up, I will set out 12 jars, and I would just make 12 dinners all at once. And usually I can bottle seal them up in 30 minutes. So I can make 12 meals in 30 minutes. I don't know if anybody can beat me on that, but I think that's pretty fantastic to be able to prepare meals for your family so quickly. This jar is not quite big enough to go ahead and add rice or noodles if that's what you want to do. So I'm just going to bottle this up, and I always have rice on hand, so I'll just pull my rice out and make a pot of rice. But if you want to use a bigger jar like this, you could add a bag like this, a sandwich bag. You just stick it on the top like this, and then stick your funnel over it, and you can just add your noodles or your rice in there. But I do not have enough room. I could probably put a cup of rice in there, but we always eat 2 cups of rice, so I'm not even going to worry about that right now. And so the next thing you do is you need to seal it. So over here in the corner, I have my sealer. I love that it's tucked away, and anytime I need it, and I use it all the time daily. It's not on my counter space. I can just grab it. I'm going to go ahead and get a lid, put it on top, make sure there's no powder or anything around the top of your jar so it has a good seal. And I'm going to take my wide mouth, this is a Food Saver jar sealer. I'm going to stick it on top. Just take off the cover, shut your jar, and then you're going to just use a ring to seal up the jar nice and tight. Okay, so now we have our beef stroganoff, in our jar. Now, the way you figure out how long this will last is usually you'll take the ingredient that won't last the longest. And so maybe the dehydrated onions only last 7 years, but the other stuff will last a lot longer. You're gonna still consider the whole jar as shelf life of 7 years. You can use these oxygen absorbers and put them inside and close them up, and that will take the oxygen out as well. So if you don't have a food saver, you can do it this way too. I love my food saver sealer though, because this one I definitely won't seal again. I'll dump the whole thing and cook it. But things like this that I need to reseal again, I don't have to keep putting in new oxygen absorbers. Some of these I get into daily, and so it's nice to be able to just seal it up and be done with it. Let's go to step 2, which is let's cook this beef stroganoff. So you have it in your cupboard, and it's that 4:30 sweet time of stressed out moms, and you come into your cupboard and you see all your food and you decide, okay, it's beef stroganoff, that sounds good. And then we're going to go and get a pot, and pretty much every meal in a jar is just going to dump your ingredients into the pot, and we're just going to add water. And so I'm going to need to undo my ring, and because it's sealed, I'm going to need a can opener to unseal it. And if you listen, you should hear it, the air coming out. And we're good to go. If I do not hear that, I'm going to throw the food away. Even though it feels like you're wasting, better to be safe than sorry if it has meat in it. So we're going to go ahead and dump this into the jar, into our pot. I'm going to add 4 cups of water. And then we're going to just let this cook for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to turn it to medium-high. And I'll mix it in a little bit, but I'm just going to start going right now. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cook my rice. Now I cook rice on the stove, and I have 2 cups of rice, and then I'm going to add 3 cups of water. Okay, I've got my 3 cups of water, and I'm going to cook my rice on high for 5 minutes. So I always set my timer, otherwise it's going to boil over. So I'm going to set both those to high, and 5 minutes I'm going to turn my rice down to simmer, and your food will be ready in 20 minutes. So see how easy that was? I didn't need to measure anything. If we pretended I didn't do this right now, and I grab it off of the cupboard, it's super easy. You're going to dump, add water, mix, turn it on, and set your timer. Done. Just think of all the dishes you don't have to clean. You don't have to clean your measuring cups or anything else, because that's all it is. You just have one mason jar to clean. No cutting board, no knives. Pretty awesome. And so that's how you make the beef stroganoff meals in a jar. So I'll go ahead and let it cook, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So let me show you how to preserve your food once you've opened it from the tin can. Now if they say in the tin can, some of them will last about 25 years, and they say on the back how long they'll last. But once it's opened, you need to do something with it. So especially meats, all the meats you need to put away quickly. I try to do it right away. So I love these larger jars that you can get pretty much anywhere. I bought these at Walmart. Put your funnel on top, and I'm going to just dump all of the meat inside of my jar. And then I'm going to seal it up, and it's just as good as it was when it originally was packaged. And so is the best way to keep your meat from going bad. Okay, so we're going to shake it down, and then same thing, we're going to grab a lid jar, we're going to seal it in our food saver, and then put our ring on top, and then once it's sealed, we're going to go ahead and put it in our cupboard. Look for the recipe on brightleystreet.com for the, you'll be able to download this sheet right here for our meals in a jar, and it has the recipe for beef stroganoff, and I'll also have the recipe for the cream of something, and we'll also do a video on how to put this together. But it's super easy, and this is a golden ingredient to have in your home. We're always needing a cream of something. Okay, let's check on our food. You probably just want to mix it a couple times while it's cooking. Looking pretty good. Okay, and there's our beef stroganoff. So we're going to go ahead and taste our beef stroganoff. Stuff is piping hot. Woo! Super good, super hot. So, cool it down, sit down, have dinner, and this is sure to become a favorite. And that's about it. We'll see you next week for another meal in a jar recipe and how to make these super easy, stress-free dinners for your own family. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to visit BrileyStreet.com, subscribe to our website, and don't forget to subscribe and like our video here on YouTube. And we'll see you next week.